We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. Tantra, understanding Tantra is way to transcendence. Understanding Tantra is way to transcendence. Each one of us comes with an existential bioenergy. It is like electrical energy. When it manifests through an apparatus which has a body and a mind, because each electrical appliance has a body and a mind, so that programs the energy to work in a particular manner. The same electric current, when flows through the bulb, the body of the bulb and the mind of the bulb, gives you light of a certain wattage. When it works through air conditioner, the body and the mind of the air conditioner, it gives you cool air. So on and so forth. Every electrical instrument works on electric current, but electric current passes through its body and the mind. We are born with existential bioenergy, which is the electric current. When it works through the body and the mind instrument, it becomes sex. Sex is an act, is a way the energy is transformed and performs in a particular way. We forget all about the energy. We only remember the act of sex. And that's what creates the problem. Energy can be transformed, but not the act. There is a direct relationship between energy and the act. What this particular apparatus can do, but it functions only through the electrical energy. The act of sex works through the energy. It is the energy that activates the system of the body. It activates the mind, and then you perform the act of sex. If the body is not responding, mind is not responding, then the act cannot be performed. So we know sex is a physical act, but there are many dimensions attached to it. The dimension of emotions, it must fulfill you emotionally, it must fulfill you intellectually, it must fulfill you spiritually. Only then the transcendence is possible. But we know sex only a physical act with nothing of the emotions, nothing of the intellect, nothing of spirituality. This we need to understand. In 1995, Daniel Goldmail introduced the concept of emotional quotient. Just as we have intelligence quotient or IQ, he introduced the concept of emotional quotient. Then in 2005, Diana Zohar, Zoher, introduced the concept of a spiritual quotient. These are very important. Daniel Goleman introduced the concept of emotional quotient in business terminology, in business field, and the work was a pioneering work, and millions of his books were sold. In order to establish a harmony in the business, there has to be an emotional understanding at all the levels. Diana Zohar's work was a spiritual, so there are certain points that has to be mentioned, which I intend, if someone is interested, it can be presented as a research paper on Tantra. But I am far from that. So, at emotional level, the two people who are involved into it, their emotional health is important. In most of the cases, we do not consider sex related to emotional health, but it is very important, because we have understood sex as an act, not as the act has become important, not the energy. It is the energy that can, if the energy fails to function or fails to reach, then the apparatus cannot work. So energy is more important, and it is said Tantra is freedom. Freedom for what? But this is where the misunderstanding comes, and there are so many groups and people who are taking advantage of this word Tantra for the sake of ignorant ones. There are the groups, they advertise different kind of orgasms. To name a few, get 2 orgasms for the price of 1. The clitoris orgasm, the G-string orgasm, this orgasm and that. And also there is one who says that I am a sex therapist, and her courses cost somewhere $195 a course. So Tantra is freedom from all mind controversies. All mind controversies, because mind creates many problems. All mind constructs, from all mind games, freedom from all structures, freedom from the other. Tantra is indeed a space to be. It is liberation. It is not a religion in the ordinary sense of the word. Religion again is a mind game. Religion gives you a certain pattern, a Christian pattern, a Islamic pattern, a Hindu pattern. So has the different religions. You follow a certain style, a certain discipline. Tantra basically takes away all these disciplines. When there is no discipline, when there is no enforced order, a totally different kind of order arises in you. What Lao Tse calls it as Tao, Buddha calls it as Dham, that arises in you. That is not anything done by you, it happens to you. Tantra simply creates a space within for it to happen. And for Tantra, remember, physical contact is not necessary. Those who say that, it is foolishness. There are two concepts of Tantra. One is Shiva model. Shiva model is based on devotion. And then the other is Saraha model, which is on meditation. So Saraha, now these are important. In Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Shiva never talks about the sexual union. He never gives a practical demonstration. He never, in that, nowhere it is said it is a relationship between male and female. Devotion is the first and the foremost thing. Then uses the techniques, you follow this. It is like this. The doctor tells you that you follow this and you will attain to this. He is not taking the medicine for you. He is not doing anything, but everything you have to do. And meditation is when two people are involved, but Saraha model is more appealing to the people. There is no need, I can tell you on the basis of my own experience, and those who have worked with me, they know that there is no need of physical relationship with anyone to help someone to transcend beyond the biology. You have to work at emotional level. Devotion means the person has to be totally devoted to you. There has to be a total openness, not any kind of bondage, not any kind of restrictions. You are free that you can talk at any level. This is what Shiva is doing. Talking to Devi on when you are in union, when this is what is happening, then you go that. So at that level, a transformation can be possible, but if you are considering it as an act, you are overlooking the energy. And in that way, where the physical association is not there, you can work at emotional level, at intellectual level, you can work at a spiritual level. You are working at the level of energy. The masters, the Sufi masters and all that, they have worked at the level of energy, but they did not connect it to. So the person really does not know whether it is working at the level of the act or at the level of energy alone. The work at the two levels is very important. You can talk about all those things, which creates the mental constructs, that creates the blockages, that you cannot talk to this person that way or that way. When you look at the Kama Sutra of Vatsayan, he talks everything in detail. He talks about the importance of kiss, they categorize the female genital organs in 3, male genital organ in 3 different types. and very openly, without any restriction. Only a person who have transcended will not have any problem in talking about these things. Otherwise, you will have problem and you cannot speak in that manner. When there is no discipline, there is no enforced order, a totally different kind of order arises in you. This is what Lao Tse calls it as Tao, Buddha calls it as Dham. Tantra simply creates a space within for this to happen. Tantra creates a space for this to happen. It does not even invite, it does not even wait. It simply creates a space, and when a space is created, the whole flow begins. The space is ready, the whole flow begins. Tantra says if you are in order within, then the whole world is in order for you. When you are in harmony, then the whole existence is in harmony with you. I have worked closely with certain people on this aspect without any physical relationship, and the results have been phenomenal. Some of these are mentioned in the first work, Life, Love and Light. Many blockages, the systems that were in disarray in the body, that has come in the normal pace without any medicine, simply because of the understanding. When you are in harmony, the whole existence is in harmony for you. When you are in disorder at the physical level, emotional level, then the world is in disorder, and the order has not to be a false one. It has not to be forced. When you force some order upon yourself, you simply become a split. Deep down there continues the disorder. You can observe it. If you are an angry person, you can force your anger one way. You can repress it deep down in the unconsciousness, but it is not going to disappear. When this energy flows and it becomes an act at the physical level, then what happens? Many emotional disorders happen. Many things are repressed. We consider it as male-oriented. We are living in a male-oriented society. In certain religions, women did not have any authority to express herself. Even up to a certain period of time, in Christianity, the women were considered as witchcrafts, and burning them was not wrong. So at emotional level, there comes a disturbance. With that, the disturbance comes at intellectual level and in spiritual level. So it is running as an undercurrent. It is in the dark basement of your being, but it is there always. On top of it, you can remain smiling with one another. That is what happens. The husband smiles with wife, wife smiles with husband, but you know it can erupt any moment. The dissatisfaction, and your smile cannot be very deep, it cannot be true, it will be just an effort that you are making against yourself. A man who forces an order from outside remains verily in disorder. Tantra says there is another kind of order. You cannot impose any order, you cannot impose any discipline, you simply drop all structures, simply become natural and spontaneous. It is the greatest step a man can be asked to take. It will need great courage because society will not like it. The society will be totally against it. That is the reason many masters, awakened ones, have not spoken on it directly. They have not worked on it directly. The society wants a certain order. If you follow the society will be happy for you. If you go slightest astray here and there, the society will be against you, and the mob is mad against you. Tantra is rebellion. I do not consider it revolutionary because it has, revolution means there has to be a politics behind it. And I do not consider it revolutionary because it has no plans to change the world. Revolution means to change the outer. That is what this word revolution is used in general terminology. It has no plan to change the state or the society. It is rebellious. It is an individual rebellion. It is one individual who is slipping out of the social structure and the slavery, the bondage. But the moment you slip out of the slavery, you come to feel another kind of existence around you which you have never felt before. You have never felt that through your body, through your emotions, through your mind, through your spirituality. If you were living with a blindfold and suddenly the blindfold has been removed, your eyes are opened and you see a totally different world. That is why it is an individual rebellion. And out of that rebelliousness, it is like this: when you have gone through this process, as if the blindfold that was on your eyes, it has been removed, and you see a different world, totally different body, totally different psychology, the emotional health. But still the process has to continue because each time when you had a relationship, it creates certain emotional disturbances in you, many kind of, and each individual is different. So when I said 30 hours of dedicated and focused time, it is not like I cut you according to the clothes. Is a custom made clothes outfit for you. The plan, the rules, the principle, the system is designed specifically for you according to your needs, according to your, the tailor It is called tailor-made. It makes the outfit to suit your appearances. Not that you buy a ready-made and then you cut it to suit you. No. So each individual is different as far as biology, as far as psychology, as far as intellectual aspect is concerned. So accordingly, a plan is made differently for each person. This blindfold that I just spoke of is your mind, your thinking, your prejudices, your knowledge, your scriptures. They all make thick layer of blindfold, and they are keeping your mind, they are keeping you dull, they are keeping you unalive. I am not saying dead. They are keeping you unalive. Tantra wants you to be alive, alive just as trees. When the breeze blows, the tree swings the way the breeze wants to blow it. As alive as rivers, as alive as sun, as alive as moon, the stars. That is your birthright. You do not gain anything by losing it. Nothing is lost. Even a single moment of utter freedom is enough to satisfy, and a long life of 100 years. When the blindfold is removed, you feel as if in a moment you have lived the entire life. To be in the world of Tantra needs tremendous courage. It is an adventure. Up to now, only a few people have been able to move into it really. That is why Saraha, who was an incarnation of Buddha, was born 2000 years after Buddha. It is important that the master or Buddha or the awakened one mothers you. He keeps you in his womb until you are ready to be born. Tantra gives a totally different perspective, not revolutionary, rebellious, individual. Look at your life. Are you free? You are not. There are 1001 bondages around you. You may not look at them because they are very embarrassing. You may not recognize them because they hurt you. But it does not change the situation. You are slave. You move into dimension of Tantra, you have to recognize your slavery. It is deep rooted. It has to be dropped. And I said it is of a different level. Tantra says the first thing that you have to remember, that no man is just a man and no woman is just a woman. Each man is both man and a woman. So is woman, because your body has come into existence with the interaction between ovum and sperm. So the female aspect and the male aspect. According to Tantra, the Shiva element and the Shakti, the energy, the body and the energy. Look at this is very scientific. It is not just religious concoction. Every electrical instrument has two aspects. The electric current brought from outside energy, and a mind is created for energy to function in a particular way. Isn't it so? That is why, although the electric current is working through different appliances, but result is different. You are the body, mind, intellect. Body, mind, intellect. And the mind is divided into two layers, yin and yang, male and female, left and right, the objective and the subjective mind. The left side is known as objective mind, the right side is known as subjective mind. And between these two there is a gap where there are impressions. And those impressions, so whatsoever happens, because of that impressions, that beclouds, that colors, whatever decision comes out, there is distortion, energy does not flow properly. Whereas when the gap is reduced, there is no gap between the two, starts overlapping into one another. So, two aspects, the energy, which is the existential bioenergy, when it functions through your body-mind equipment, body-mind apparatus that you are. Your religion gives you a body. Religion, the body comes just like anybody else. It is made of certain kind of metal, certain kind of wiring, certain kind of thing. But the whole mind approach, mind is different in each electrical appliance. Your mind is totally different than my mind. Your mind is conditioned to work in a particular direction. So it is very important to understand this. No woman is just a woman, no man. Each man is both man and a woman, objective and the subjective, the ovum and the sperm, Shiva and Shakti, the left and the right brain, yin and yang. Adam has Eve in him and Eve has Adam in her. In fact, nobody is just Adam and nobody is just Eve. We are, it is better to call Adam Eves. This is one of the greatest insights of Tantra. Greatest insights ever happen. And now, even the modern psychology has become aware of it. They call it biosexuality. But for at least 5,000 years, Tantra has known it, preached it. It is one of the greatest discoveries of the world, because with this understanding, you can move in the inner direction. Otherwise, you cannot move into your inner direction. Why does a man fall in love with a woman? Or a woman falls in love with man? Because the man carries a woman in her and a woman carries man in her. Otherwise he would not fall in love. And why do you fall in love with a certain kind of woman? There are thousands of women, but why suddenly does a certain woman become most important for you, or a certain man becomes more important for you? As if all women have disappeared for you, or all men have disappeared for you. Why? Why does a certain man or a certain woman attracts you? Why at the first sight does something suddenly click? Tantra says you are carrying an image of woman inside you or an image of man inside you that complements you. Each man is carrying a woman and each woman is carrying a man. When somebody on the outside fits with your inner image, you fall in love. When the outside of a man or a woman fits with your inner image that you are carrying, you fall in love. This is what is the meaning of love. But you do not understand it. You simply shrug your shoulders and say, it has happened. But there is a subtle mechanism in this. But that is not enough. That is the beginning. You have to go through the emotional aspects. And that is where the distortion begins. As soon as you see a man or a woman, something clicks in you. You say it happened. But there is a subtle mechanism in it. Why did it happen in the first place? Why a certain woman? Why not others? Your inner image fits somehow. The outer woman is similar in a way. Something just hits your inner image. You feel that this is my woman, this is my man. This feeling is what we call as love. But the other woman is not going to satisfy because the outer woman is not going to completely fit with your inner image. The reality is not that way at all. Maybe she fits a little bit. Here is an appeal. There is a magnetism. But it will be worn out sooner or later. Sooner or later you will recognize that there are 1,001 other things that you do not like in this woman or a man. That is what I said, that there the next quotient, the emotional quotient comes in. There are certain points which in process of time I will explain. If you happen to get a chance to read Daniel Goleman's 1995 publication of the research paper, which later on published as a book, Emotional Quotient, Daniel Goleman. The other in 2005, around somewhere, it is Diana Zohar, the spiritual quotient. He introduced this model, emotional quotient, in case of business, the coordination, but it can be in a broad way applied to a male-female relation. So what happens? There is a little bit semblance at the physical level. Maybe you have a particular image in your mind that you want to have, like for instance, the different people have a different the physical appearances. The Germans, the British, the Indians, and even in Indians, they have, the Bengalis have a different, the South Indians have a different appearance, and that image is there in your mind and it appeals to you. But sooner or later you realize that there are 1,001 things that do not match and that you do not like. There are many things that you do not like in the man. But once you have chosen a particular male or a female, man or a woman, you have to go to the second layer, that is from IQ to EQ and EQ to SQ. IQ is intelligent quotient, EQ is emotional quotient, and SQ is a spiritual quotient. You have to go through all these quotients, these levels. It will take a bit of time to come to know what those things are. First, when the relationship begins, you become infatuated. First, the similarity will be too much. It will overwhelm you. Yes, this is the woman that I want. This is the man that I want. But by and by, you will start seeing the other aspects of the person. Her smile is infatuating. Afterwards, oh no, I don't like the way she smiles, do this thing and so. We'll see that there are 1,001 things, details of life that do not fit. They are that you are aliens or strangers, yet you still love her, but the love has no more aspect of infatuation. That romantic vision is disappearing, and she will also recognize that something appeals in you, and some things, but also will recognize that you do not appeal to her totally. That is why if you talk to a woman about her husband, he will say, yes, good, but always remains there. That is why each husband tries to change the wife, and wife tries to change the man according to her own setup, according to her own bent of mind. What are they trying to do? Why does a wife continuously tries to change the husband? She will want him to dress in a particular way. The husband will want the wife to dress in a particular way. Why can't it be dress as you feel, what appeals to you, but be decent, be dressed for the occasion? She has fallen in love with a man, then immediately she starts changing the man. Now she has become aware of the dissimilarities. She wants to drop those dissimilarities. She wants him to take a few chunks of this man so that he completely fits her idea of the man or his idea of the woman. And husband also tries the same way. The woman thinks today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow, one day, I will change. It takes 20-25 years to recognize the fact that you cannot change the other. After age of 50, when a woman has passed her, reached her menopause, the man too, when they are getting old, they become alert by and by that nothing has changed. They have tried their hard, tried their best. Women remains the same and the man remains the same. But we do not accept each other the way they are. That is why the old people become tolerant and marriage becomes, the relationship becomes hopping. You are hopping on one foot. Hopping is always on the one foot. It is not like, it becomes like a two railway tracks remaining, traveling parallel to one another but never meet. They know that nothing can be done. That is why people become more and more graceful. They know that things are as they are. That is why they become more accepting. Young people are not. They are angry, very non-accepting. They want to change everything. They want to make the world the way they would like it to. The outer man can never fit your inner man. The outer woman can never fit your inner woman. There comes the emotional quotient. 6 or 7 points are there. You bring them into the place. That is why the same is the case between man and a woman. That is why love gives pleasure and pain both. Love gives happiness and unhappiness at the same time. And the unhappiness is much more than the happiness. What does Tantra propose for it? What has to be done? But there is a trend that you need a Tantrika to take you through that stage. But can that help you? Why can't your husband or wife become a Tantrika? Tantra says there is no way to satisfy with the outer. You have to move inward. You have to find your inner woman or inner man. That is where the concept of Ardhanarishwar, half man, half woman, Shiva and Shakti, the dark energy and dark matter. This is one of the chapters being used in the book, the Sanatan Dharma. The dark energy and dark matter. You will have to find your inner woman or inner man. You will have to attain to a sexual intercourse inside. Through outside you cannot reach inside. That is the contribution of Tantra. The union of Shiva and Shakti. You need devotion. You need meditative insights. How can it happen? Try to understand the map that I have spoken a few times, and this is the chakra analysis. Tantra yoga philosophy. In man, the first center, the earth center, Mooladhara, is male and Swadhisthana is female. In case of woman, the opposite happens. In case of a woman, Mooladhara is female or feminine and Swadhisthana is male. So on and so forth. This combination continues until you reach the Vishuddha or the third eye center. Beyond that, there is no. So this is where a spiritual quotient comes in, or a spiritual understanding comes in. Emotional comes in at a different level. I will go into it in another session. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.